In this video, we're going to talk about how to actually deal with social media. All right, let's begin. All right, let's start by saying one thing and leaving it really clear. I am doing these videos for myself and for myself only. So if you don't agree with the message, that is fine. That just means we're different human beings and have different opinions. So maybe just don't listen to it. How about that? Again, because I'm making these videos for myself, I am going to talk about my own situation, and I don't know what your situation is like. It might be very different. But in my case, I am a professional social media manager in a sense. So this is my job. This idea of escaping from social media completely is basically impossible. Because of my job, I actually know the perils of social media much better than many other people do. I know how addictive it is, and I do have a very strong love-hate relationship with it. I love producing on it. I love doing stuff like what I'm doing right now. I wouldn't say I hate consuming it because I get a lot of inspiration and a lot of value from it, but I do over-consume it more often than not. I think the message that is being spread across the internet nowadays is always in one of both extremes. It's either become a hermit, delete social media, go crazy, just get completely off it. It is the devil. These companies invest millions of dollars in keeping you hooked, which is true, by the way, that is not an exaggeration. And then the other side is just maximalists, influencers that just live their whole life through social media and are glued to their phone. Or even worse, people that are not influencers, like normal people glued to their phones. I don't need to give you statistics or anything. You just see this in your day-to-day life. What has my conclusion been? If I'm being honest with you, I don't really have a conclusion yet. I've spent a lot of time in both camps. I started off as an addict, pretty much. I have relapses every so often, like I'll just spend hours scrolling on TikTok and stuff like that. So this stuff has done me harm. It is my passion in a sense, but it also has done me a lot of harm. And I have been a complete hermit. Who would have guessed? I don't like none of both. I don't like either of the extremes. The middle ground tends to be the place where we should spend most of our time. But nowadays, and it sounds obvious if you say it, but nowadays everything seems to be preached except for the middle ground. What does that mean for me? So my middle ground might be a little bit more exaggerated than you think. Let me just leave that clear. And this is something that I've done recently. I have done it before. I've done it, I stopped doing it, I did it, I stopped doing it. I have my phone in black and white, if I can prove that to you. So I'm recording an audio right now. You can see it is in black and white. And I have indeed deleted TikTok and Instagram. What does this mean? Because this is not all roses and flowers. Again, it is my job. I need to keep up with the trends. I need to follow this stuff every so often. I do use Instagram. Just because I don't have it on my phone doesn't mean I don't use it. And where do I use it? I use it on my computer. A few days a week after work, I just get onto Instagram and I just answer to a few messages. If people have sent stuff through groups, also if it's reels, I check it out, because many times that acts like a natural synthesizing of the most important reels. At my group at work, it's a lot of informational stuff, like important things, and in my group of friends it's just funny stuff, but it kind of keeps you up to date with the memes and the trends and stuff like that. It's been great so far. I've just been doing this for a week this time, but I've done this many times before, for months at a time. There is some truth to the fact that you do lose a little bit of the kind of the threshold of stuff going on. I would say it's ultimately worth it, because I personally haven't been able to have those apps on my phone and not indulge in them a little bit too often. And the thing is, most of these millions of dollars that are being invested in keeping you hooked to these social media apps, they're being invested into the mobile apps. So if you just stay away from the mobile apps, it is impressively easy to just scroll for a little bit until you've seen enough, and then you just stop scrolling. It's kind of magical. It's so easy. The other thing is, I oftentimes need to go into the music charts of TikTok to find out the trending songs and stuff like that. It is so easy to just do that on the computer as well. Biggest problem with this is stories. Stories is something where you're just meant to open the app, film or take a photo of something real quick, and just and that's it. But if you don't have the app on your phone, there's no way to do this on the computer. There I just have to bite the bullet. I just have to install the app, upload whatever I want to upload, and then uninstall the app. And yes, it is a hassle, but it is worth the price. I'm telling you, last week was a very bad week for me. I spent 3 hours every day, every 2 days, just scrolling on TikTok. Not TikTok, more like Instagram. Once I did this, once I deleted the apps, once I put my phone in black and white, it was just day and night. It changed immediately. I don't want to preach the typical message that social media is bad, because I love watching YouTube. I always have. I'm never gonna stop. I have been watching a little bit of, how's he called, the Wrangler School, that guy, and he is actually very helpful to the community, and he is an inspiration in many ways. He has been an inspiration for this video. If you want to check recipes, if you want to check concepts on how to film better, how to be more engaging, all of that is important. So I'm not saying don't consume, because the other thing is, whether you like it or not, social media has become a part of society. And you say the word society, it's immediately cringe, but it's true. If I was still working in New Zealand in the farms and stuff like that, I probably would completely have it deleted and I wouldn't use it at all. And if you are able to do that, and if you feel like that's something that you would like to do, then go ahead, do it. That's great. I'm happy for you. The thing is, I don't feel like I can do it. With my job, with the fact that I actually do enjoy many things of it. So yeah, at the end of the day, this is what worked for me. It has worked for me in the past, having the app open on my phone, not open, but on my phone, and just using it for stories and stuff like that. But in the long run, that has never worked. Like, I always end up kind of relapsing. Before I forget, obviously, we have the big one, the one that the need that social media was originally meant to fulfill, and that is just being social. Believe it or not, you can still use it for those things. I'm able to keep in touch with friends that I've met during all my travels because of this. I could have just given them my number, but it has happened to me that I've changed my number and that I've lost contacts. I know it shouldn't happen, but sometimes it happens. And Instagram is just one of those things that nowadays you just keep usually for your whole life. In certain communities nowadays, you see the idea that you shouldn't waste time chatting to people. And I do agree that talking is obviously much better. And if you can just chat enough to arrange to meet, and then you actually talk about stuff instead of chatting about stuff, of course that is better. But some guys just don't live in the same continent as you, and you don't know when you are going to be able to see them. And if you just send them a message once every 2 years or something like that, I mean, it's okay, but the chances that you're really going to end up seeing each other again are probably slimmer than if you send just a little bit more than that. I actually don't like chatting very much. I do chat more now than I used to chat before. Not because I want to, but because I noticed there actually is a lot of good in it. You know, people used to send letters. Now we don't send letters. We send messages. If you don't send a message like ever, it's kind of the equivalent of not sending a letter. So keep in contact with friends and family. Social media is a great way to do it. That was just the last thing I wanted to say about social media. I hope you enjoyed this video. This has been something a little bit different. Again, this is just my opinion. You don't need to agree. You can have a completely different view on it, and that is fine. And as I said, I hope you enjoyed this nature city walk style, this new angle with me down here. Pretty cool, eh? So yeah, I'll just see you in the next one. Bye bye.